buying a home is not fun, and honestly it's really frowned upon in this day and age. It's no longer looked at as an achievable milestone because a lot of us are experiencing past due bills, not having any savings, and don't know how to properly position ourselves for home ownership. But girl, I'm about to take your hand and help you build out your 12-month action plan so that you can become a confident home buyer. If you are looking into getting into building wealth for you and your family and just having a safe space for you to create memories and pass down legacy. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and grab your notebooks for this series. And while you are here, hit that subscribe button. Let me know where you are from in the comments. I love to know where you are from so that we can connect and build our community. And make sure that you also share this information out, because we are here to make an impact on other people's lives. And getting into home ownership is something that is very important to me, something that I have always been passionate about, but I'm just now tapping into that passion, and I am ready to share with you because I know what being confident in your finances can do for you. I know what it feels like to be past due on bills. I know what it feels like to have a low credit score. I know what it feels like to attach my worth to money. And I wanted to share this experience with you because I don't see a lot of conversations around that. And I wanted to be one of the people that contribute to having these conversations so that we can overcome the challenges and barriers that is stacked up against us. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the 12-month home buying process. And we're going to start out with month one. Before we really get into month one of the home buying process, I did want to do an introduction because I want you to know who you are listening to. Who is this girl that you're going to learn from? What makes you an expert when it comes down to financial wellness? Okay, so first and foremost, I am a proud Chicagoan, born on the South Side, raised on the South Side. I love my city, and I love to just educate and empower other working moms and women in my city. And I also want to connect with surrounding areas and people all over the world. So if you are one of the girlies that want to be a homeowner, you want to do better with your finances, I want to connect with you. Okay, I'm also a mom, I'm a wife. Okay, I've been married for almost 10 years. I have 2 kids. I work a 9 to 5 job, and my passion has always been to create a YouTube channel. Okay, so I'm very excited that I get to take the information that I have learned and put it on this platform to help other people. Okay, I started my budgeting journey about 5 years ago because all of my bills was past due. I had low credit score. I didn't have any savings. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. There was a point in time that I found myself overworking, and I was experiencing burnout just trying to keep up with the bills. I've worked multiple jobs at one time. I've also did various delivery side hustle jobs like DoorDash, Instacart, Uber Eats, girl, you name it, Amazon Flex. I was doing it, and I was doing it because I didn't have a plan for my money, and I was just playing this catch-up game. But 5 years ago, your girl experienced an eviction notice at her door when it came down to the apartment that we were renting. And when I tell you that broke me down, it really broke me down. I was tired and I just wanted a way out. I was like, enough is enough of me trying to work for money. I want my money to work for me. I want to be able to be in control of my finances. I don't like this feeling. I didn't like looking at an eviction notice, and I dang on sure didn't like going to court for it. So that day, I decided that I was going to surrender my finances to God, and I was going to learn how to become a good steward over my resources, my tools, and my time so that I can make better decisions. So you're probably like, girl, what that got to do with financial wellness? Everything. When money is messed up, your mind is messed up. You're not able to think properly. You have pressure. You have stress. You're always worrying. You're doing things that is out of alignment, and it stops you from getting to your goal. Okay, you will still get to your goal, but it won't be as seamless as as it can be when you really take time to build out your plan. So that is where I come from. That is my background. So what makes me this expert is because I lived that struggle life. I have lived in somewhat of poverty. Okay. So you are not alone. And I wanted us to have community so that we can support each other and empower each other along this journey. Because I know when I was looking into being a homeowner and I was doing a lot of research, it was hard for me to find a community that spoke about the wellness and the emotional part of home buying. Like there is a whole emotional segment when it comes to the home buying process. So I didn't just want to give you those professional perspectives as such as looking at your credit and things like that. Yes, those things are very important, but it's also important for you to build out a solid foundation that will help you build a financial routine, that will help you become financially aware so that you can structure this plan correctly. Because one thing that you want to do is make sure that you are becoming a confident home buyer. So we're going to head and get into a few things on how you're going to go ahead and get into a few things on how you can start this process by building out this plan. And I'm actually going to take you over to the whiteboard because I want to write it down. I'm a visual and you're probably a visual too. So let's write it down and talk about it as we do that. Okay. So come on and let's get to this whiteboard. Laugh at my writing, girl, but I wanted to write this down so we can start taking our notes. Because one thing that I talk about in my community, which is the Budget Better crew, the BBC crew, is I talk about how we can actually start looking at things from a wellness perspective. So I wanted you to visually see what I am talking about so you can follow along. And one thing that you are going to need along this journey is a money journal. Okay, so I want you to get a money journal. Okay. The reason why you're going to get a money journal is because I want you to be able to track your process, keep everything organized. So the reason why you're going to get a money journal is because I want you to be able to track your emotions. I want you to journal out your feelings so that way you can identify where you are emotionally and you can start creating new habits that will help you with your emotions, because we want to make sure that we are making a educated decision, not a decision based solely off our emotions. This is going to set you apart from being a good investor and being a not so good investor. And a good investor takes time to educate themselves. They know how to separate their feelings from making financial decisions. This is why it's important to have your dedicated money journal so that you can navigate your emotions during this process. Number two, I want you to start creating a routine for yourself. So we're going to write this down. We are going to create, let me be real specific right here. We are going to create financial routines. Oops. Okay. Routines. Okay, so when I say create a financial routine, I also mean a morning, afternoon, and evening financial routine. What this means is you are spending time with your money. You are looking at your expenses, your bills. You want to see how much money you are spending on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. If you have not been budgeting, you definitely want to hone in on this routine and really being very clear. When are you going to look at your finances? What categories are you going to look at? So, for example, let's just say my morning routine. I'm going to put example right here. So, my morning routine, this can be when I wake up in the morning. One of the things that I want to do after I say my prayer, after I meditate, after I do all of those things that's good for my mental capacity. Now I want to take a look at what bills are coming out this week. Okay. So I want you to look at the bills that are going to be coming out every single morning. You need to know what's getting ready to come out your bank account. You also need to review the spending that you did. So for example, this is really helpful if on the so, for example, your spending, I want you to look at the spending you have done with over the last 7 days or the day before. See where you spent that money and ask yourself, was it a want or a need? You want to be able You want to be able to see what you are doing because this is going to help you build out your budget plan. If you are getting ready for home ownership, or even if you want to pay off your home, the key things of doing with your money is to make sure that you are aware. And how you are going to build your awareness is making sure that you have some type of routine set in place. Okay, so let's just say for the afternoon, we are going to check debt payments. Okay, we want to make sure that we are checking our debt payments because a lot of the times we will spend the leftover money instead of looking at our debt or our savings. So I actually want you to look at both. If you have money left over after paying all of your bills, instead of spending that money, let's go ahead and look at how much money can we allocate towards our debt payments and how much money can we allocate towards our savings categories. Your savings should be broken down into about 5 different categories, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. But I also wanted to go over your night routine, okay? This is how you build a different relationship with your money. A lot of us was not taught how to handle money, how to look at our credit, how to budget properly. And these are things we can start doing today to help us better understand our money and how to build a new relationship with it. I always say, like, girl, we spend time with our men, our kids, our jobs. We need to be doing the same thing with our money. It's called a money date. That is what your financial routine is you getting to know your dollars. Okay, so at nighttime, you want to look at what bills were paid. You want to look at what was spent. You want to look at all of these different things on your night routine, and you want to repeat it. Okay, each and every day you want to repeat that. So the next thing that we need to be looking at as we are building out our routines, one of the things that I want you to look at is I want you to start looking at your habits. Okay, look at your money habits. Your money habits tell you what you are doing when it comes down to money. This is how you're going to be able to give every single dollar a job so that money is working for you and not against you. Okay. So when I say look at your habits, I want you to look at the last 2 to 3 bank statements. Okay. When you pull these statements, I want you to actually look at those statements line for line. Get you a pen, get you a highlighter. Look at what you are already doing with this money. This is very crucial when you want to build out this plan. You don't want to throw together a budget plan and say, "Who I did it in the beginning of the month," and now you don't know kind of where you're going, all because you haven't looked at your habits. Your habits need to be inside of your plan as well. So when you look through those last 2 to 3 bank statements with your pens and your highlighters, you're going to look at these categories and you're going to look at these items and put them into different categories. So for example, if you went to the grocery store, then you still went to go get eat now food, you need to put those in categories. You can separate them or you can put them together in the food category. One would be groceries, one would be eat now. Your subscriptions, which is your Hulu, your Disney, your Apple, all of those things need to be categorized. And this is also going to tell you your habits of where you are currently spending money. If you do a lot of online shopping, it's going to be on your bank statements. Whatever that you are doing with money, it reveals itself to you in your bank statements. And this is how you start tracking your money. The tracking worksheet in my budget planner, it always tells the girls exactly what they're doing with their money. If you want to start tracking your money, then I am going to leave a resource in the description below so that you can get that worksheet and start tracking your funds, because I need you to become what? Aware of what's currently going on in your finances. Now, the last thing that we are going to do as we are building out our plan for home ownership, we're building out a brick by brick plan, is we are going to stay consistent. Now, I know this sounds cliche, y'all, but it is so important that we stay consistent with our financial routines, with looking at our habits, looking at our bank statements, being consistent is how you get the results. You have to hold yourself accountable. And if you don't trust yourself to hold yourself accountable to do this, this is why I am building the BBC, the Budget Better Crew, so that we can hold each other accountable, so that we can do this thing together, because getting to home ownership is not impossible. You just have to be educated and have a solid plan to help you get there, okay? So we are going to have our money journals. We're going to create financial routines for the morning, afternoon, and evening. We're going to look at our habits so that we can see what we are currently doing with money. And most importantly, we are going to stay consistent, okay? So I hope this information helps you. Let me know in the comments, when are you getting started with, when are you going, let me know in the comments when you are ready to get started with your home buying plan. And if you have any questions, meet me in the comments and let's talk about it. Girl, as always, before I go, I want you. So, girl, as always, before I go, as I always say, so, girl, girl, go ahead and start doing your homework so that you can become a confident home buyer. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll do a video to make sure that I address your questions. All right, girl, as always, just come on and budget better so you can get your home. Thanks for watching. Bye.